Welcome back to the latest video on the Who Died Today channel. In the past 24 hours, we've received sad news about the passing of some extraordinary talents. In today's episode, we dedicate this time to honor their memories and celebrate the legacies of these remarkable individuals. Before we begin, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or their legacy has touched your life, please give it a like as a sign of respect. Thank you. Melenna Brando, Brazilian actress Melenna Brando, a rising young star known for her role on Netflix's Centonia, passed away on May 2nd at just 11 years old. Her parents, Tha and Louise Brando, shared that Melenna began feeling unwell on April 24th, experiencing a severe headache, leg pain, and other symptoms. She was diagnosed with D9 fever, but her condition worsened and she had to return to the hospital twice more, once after fainting at home. Faze explained that Melenna started having 2 to 3 cardiac arrests per day, with a total of 13 cardiac arrests. Doctors later told the family that Melenna's brain had stopped functioning. Her parents described her as the light in our lives and said her happiness touched everyone around you. Melenna's passing has left a deep impact on fans and those who followed her journey as they remember the bright young talent she was. Kirk Medas, best known for his role on MTV's Bama Shore, has passed away at 33. Metis was part of the show's cast for all 4 seasons, becoming a fan favorite for his humor and charisma. His family had launched a GoFundMe campaign on May 1st to help cover medical expenses, sharing that Kirk was in the ICU battling necrotizing pancreatitis. Despite efforts to save him, he passed away the next day on May 2nd. Beyond Bama Shore 2017-2021, Kirk also appeared on shows like How Far Is Tattoo Far and Fear Factor, expanding his presence on reality TV. Tributes poured in from friends and castmates, including Cody Butts, who shared, "My heart is absolutely broken. I wish this was a bad dream. Thank you, Kirk, for giving me some of the best years of my life. I'll forever love you and cherish our friendship." Fans continue to honor Kirk's memory, reflecting on the joy and energy he brought both on and off screen. Charley Scalies Jr., the beloved actor known for playing Thomas Horseface Pacusa on The Wire and Tony Soprano's high school football coach on The Sopranos, has passed away at 84. Scalies died on May 1st after a long battle with Alzheimer's. Born in 1940, he grew up above his father's pool hall, entertaining locals with his quick wit and humor. After stepping away from acting to raise his family, he returned to the stage in the early 1990s and soon landed his first film role as a driver in Al Pacino's Two Bits, 1995. Over the next decade, Scalies built an impressive career appearing in films like 12 Monkeys and Jersey Girl and guest starring in hit TV shows, including Homicide, Life on the Street, Law and Order, SVU, and Cold Case. His performances left a lasting impact on fans and colleagues alike, remembered for his authenticity, warmth, and talent. Josiah Ryusuke, a Paris Olympics medalist, was killed in a road crash on Thursday, his Castres rugby club said. He was 30. Ryusuke was reportedly on his way to training when his vehicle was hit by a train. Castres Olympique is in mourning, the club said in a statement on its website. It is with heavy hearts that we learned of the death this morning of our player Josiah Ryusuke in a road accident. Charley Scalies, the beloved character actor and former business executive, passed away peacefully on May 1st, 2025 in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, after a long battle with Alzheimer's disease. He was 84 years old. His passing was confirmed by his daughter, Anne Marie Scalies, who remembered him as a devoted husband, father, grandfather, and friend. In his obituary, he was honored for a life marked by creativity, warmth, and an unwavering love for family. His favorite audience always gathered around the dinner table, born Charles J. Scales Jr. on July 19, 1940, in Philadelphia. He spent much of his early life in sales and consulting before turning to acting in his 50s. His second career brought him acclaim through memorable roles in The Wire, where he played Thomas Horseface Pacusa, and The Sopranos, where he appeared as Coach Molinaro. He also appeared in films including 12 Monkeys, Liberty Heights, and Jersey Girl, and made television appearances on Law and Order, Cold Case, and Homicide, Life on the Street. His performances, often grounded and sincere, reflected the working-class world he knew well. Tributes from those who knew him best speak to the heart of who Charley was. His daughter shared, "My dad lived to be back on stage." Even in his final weeks, he talked about rehearsals and storytelling. Rafael Alvarez, writer for The Wire, wrote, "I became friends with your father the moment I sat next to him at lunch on day 1 of filming season 2. He became family." Scales was also remembered for his humor, generosity, and the stories he told on and off camera. As we reflect on Charley's life and the roles that brought him into ours, we invite you to share your own memories. Did a scene from The Wire, The Sopranos, or one of his films ever stay with you? What part of his work made you pause or smile? Let us honor Charley Scales by remembering the quiet power of a performance that felt real and the man behind it who lived with heart. Mike Peters, frontman of the Welsh rock band The Alarm and a longtime cancer advocate, died on April 28, 2025 at the age of 66. His death following a decades-long battle with cancer was confirmed by his representative and reported by Rolling Stone. Peters had lived with various forms of lymphoma for over 30 years, most recently fighting RTOR syndrome, an aggressive and rare variant. He passed away surrounded by family, having dedicated much of his adult life not only to music but also to raising awareness for cancer treatment and support. Born in North Wales in 1959, Peters grew up in Rhyl and later co-founded The Alarm in the early 1980s. The band quickly found success with anthemic tracks like The Stand, Strength, and 68 Guns, which resonated with audiences in the UK and abroad. They shared stages with iconic acts such as U2 and Bob Dylan, and Peters remained a key creative force through several decades, even reviving the band after his initial departure in 1991. His final album, With the Alarm Forwards, was written during a hospital stay in 2023, a testament to how deeply music remained part of his identity. Beyond music, Peters co-founded the Love Hope Strength Foundation with his wife Jules after being diagnosed with lymphoma in 1995. The charity became known for its Get on the List campaign, helping register over 250,000 potential stem cell donors worldwide. Peters' openness about his illness made him a prominent voice for cancer patients globally. "My diagnosis made me focus on what's important in life," he reflected in a 2008 interview, choosing to turn his private health battle into a public platform for change. He has survived by his wife Jules and their 2 sons, Dylan and Evan. Tributes have poured in from fans and peers alike, remembering not just his music, but his strength. As Jules Peters wrote in a statement, he never stopped believing in the power of a song or the power of hope. What memory of Mike Peters or The Alarm stays with you most? Share it below. Richard Wernernick. Richard Wernernick has died at the age of 91. The Violin Channel confirmed on April 25, 2025. The cause of death has not been publicly disclosed. Warwick's long musical career, which included composing, conducting, and decades of teaching, influenced a generation of American composers. He's best known for his 1977 Pulitzer Prize-winning work, Visions of Terror and Wonder, as well as numerous compositions inspired by historical events such as the Vietnam War and the September 11th attacks. Born in 1934 in Boston, Wernernick began his musical education early, learning the piano and clarinet as a child. He took formal composition courses at Brandeis University and continued his studies under such luminaries as Leonard Bernstein at Tanglewood. Over the decades, he worked with orchestras such as the Philadelphia Orchestra and the Penn Contemporary Players, which he founded. He also held important teaching positions at SUNY Buffalo, the University of Chicago, and most notably the University of Pennsylvania, where he worked from 1968 until his retirement in 1996. There, he became the Irving Fine Professor of Music and chaired the department, mentoring many young composers throughout his career. Throughout his career, Wernernick was deeply influenced by current events, and his music often reflected the times. These compositions helped shape his voice as both personal and political. His impact on American music has been recognized through numerous honors, including being the first recipient of the Kennedy Center Friedheim Prize for New American Music in 1991. Richard Wernernick leaves a lasting legacy through his compositions, recordings, and the many students he mentored. In remembering his contributions, colleagues and musicians have spoken of his keen intellect, quiet dedication, and integrity as a composer. As one former student noted, he challenged us not just to write music, but to think about why we write music. Phyllis Depicto, co-founder of the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, SBF, died on April 14, 2025, at the age of 84 from heart failure. Her passing was confirmed by her daughter, Melenna Brando, and reported by The Hollywood Reporter. She passed away in hospice care in Santa Barbara, the city where she helped build one of the country's most respected film festivals. Known for her commitment to creating a cultural space for cinema lovers, Depicto played a central role in shaping SBF's identity since its launch in February 1986. Born in Chicago on September 22, 1940, Phyllis moved with her family to Los Angeles, graduating from Fairfax High School and later attending Northwestern University in UCLA. Before her festival work, she held several roles in education and film promotion. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, she worked with Lemel Theaters, curating film series around themes like civil rights and opera, and promoted artus films such as Bye Bye Brazil and Cutter's Way. Her passion for cinema was reflected in how she designed flyers, hosted filmmakers like François Truffaut and Akira Kurosawa, and made independent films more accessible to audiences. In 1983, after relocating to Santa Barbara, she saw the potential for a local film festival and invited community members to her home to discuss the idea. With support from local theater owner Bruce Corwin and a grant from the city, ESBF officially began in 1986. Ted Danson attended opening night, and Robert Mitchum was honored at the first event. The festival has since become a major platform for both international and American cinema. Her husband Stan Roden once described the festival as a space for premieres, retrospectives, conversations, and community connection. Depicto is survived by her husband Stan, daughters Lean and Natalie, 2 stepsons, her sister, 7 grandchildren, and her dog Lionis. Reflecting on her legacy, critic Joe Woodard wrote that she was a passionate advocate for the arts and for making Santa Barbara a more cinema-literate place to live. Her work continues through the festival she helped found, now part of the city's cultural fabric. Andrea Blaugrund-Nevins, the Oscar-nominated and Emmy-winning documentary filmmaker known for her films Tiny Shoulders, Rethinking Barbie and the Other F Word, died on April 12, 2025 at her home in Los Angeles. She was 63. Her family confirmed the cause of death was breast cancer. Variety reported the news, honoring a filmmaker whose work consistently reflected empathy, humor, and curiosity. Across decades, her documentaries explored unexpected corners of culture. From punk rock fatherhood to the inner world of a plastic doll icon. Born in New York City on March 15, 1962, Neans was raised in a household rich in arts and culture. She attended the Chapin School, studied literature at Harvard, and went on to work in journalism at NPR and ABC News, earning a News and Documentary Emmy for a piece on Hillary Clinton. Her directing career took shape with the 1997 Oscar-nominated short, still kicking, The Fabulous Palm Springs Follies. She continued to develop projects like Hysterical, Play It Forward, and The Cowboy and the Queen, each marked by her ability to build trust with subjects and uncover unexpected emotional layers. Colleagues and collaborators remember her as a thoughtful and skilled storyteller. Kim Cohn of Mattel, who worked with Neans on Tiny Shoulders, noted, "She saw the world through her lens of purpose and hopefulness, with a relentless belief that art and empathy could help change the world." Nevin's storytelling often centered on people whose stories were rarely told, and she balanced sharp narrative structure with a gentle, personal approach. Beyond Film M, Neans was active in civic and philanthropic work in Los Angeles. She co-founded the progressive synagogue T-Car, helped launch Larchmont Charter School, and served on the Southern California board of UNICEF. She survived by her husband of nearly 30 years, David Neans, and their 3 children, Clara, Charlie, and Jesse. Val Kilmer, the acclaimed actor known for unforgettable roles such as Iceman in Top Gun, Batman in Batman Forever, and Jim Morrison in The Doors, passed away on April 1st from pneumonia at the age of 65. His daughter, Mercedes Kilmer, confirmed the news to the New York Times, sharing that the actor had been diagnosed with throat cancer in 2014, but had later recovered. Kilmer's career spanned decades, earning him recognition for his intense performances and versatility across film and theater. He became a beloved figure in Hollywood, admired not just for his talent, but for his resilience and passion for the craft. His portrayal of larger-than-life figures brought depth and nuance to each role, making a lasting impression on audiences worldwide. Val Kilmer, in a lifetime as an artist, created work that touched so many in so many mediums, said his Top Gun co-star Anthony Edwards in a statement to People. Kilmer's legacy lives on through the stories he brought to life and the inspiration he gave to future generations. Johnny Tillitson, the beloved singer behind the 1960s classic Poetry in Motion, passed away on April 1st at the age of 86 following complications related to Parkinsonism. The news was confirmed by his wife Nancy Tillitson, who shared a moving tribute on social media the following day. Someone said that sometimes right in the middle of an ordinary life, you get a fairy tale. The day I met him, I got mine, she wrote. He was funny, generous, and kind, a gentleman through and through. Tillitson's smooth voice and heartfelt lyrics earned him a devoted fan base during the golden era of pop music, and his influence continued to resonate with audiences for decades. Nancy also reflected on Johnny's deep appreciation for his supporters. He loved and was grateful to his fans. As he once said, "They made every dream I ever had come true." Once again, on his behalf, I say thank you for that. Tillitson leaves behind a timeless musical legacy that continues to inspire. Vittorio Pierbazzari, a professional bodybuilder and actor known for his role in the Netflix series Dogs of Berlin, has died at the age of 44. The news was first shared by his close friend, director Sai Ibrahim, who posted a heartfelt message on Instagram on April 1st. Ibrahim said he was completely thrown off track upon learning of Pierbazzari's passing the day before. While no official cause of death has been released, Ibrahim suggested that Pierbazzari may have suffered a heart attack while working out at the gym. Pierbazzari was widely respected for his dedication to fitness and his commanding screen presence. His performance in Dogs of Berlin showcased not just physical strength, but a deep intensity that left a mark on viewers. Friends and fans alike are mourning his sudden loss, remembering him as a passionate, driven individual who gave his all to every pursuit. His legacy as both an athlete and performer will be deeply missed. Ruth Buzzy, unforgettable as Gladys Ormfee on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, who passed away at the age of 88 on May 1st, 2025, due to complication as related to Alzheimer's disease. Her husband, Kent Perkins, confirmed the heartbreaking news, sharing that Ruth died peacefully in her sleep at their Texas home, surrounded by love after years of hospice care. Born on July 24, 1936 in Westerly, Rhode Island, Ruth Buzzy became a household name through her sharp-witted handbag-wielding character Gladys Ormph, a role that earned her a Golden Globe and multiple Emmy nominations. As the only cast member to appear in every episode of Laugh-In, Ruth broke barriers for women in comedy and left an indelible mark on television history. Behind the scenes, Ruth's journey was not without challenges. In her later years, she faced the cruel grip of Alzheimer's disease with grace and resilience. A series of strokes in 2022 left her bedridden, but she continued to find moments of joy in the love of her husband and the messages from her countless fans. Kent Perkins regularly updated supporters, once writing, "Ruthie is facing serious health issues with poor prognosis, but she's still enjoying life, reading your messages and looking at your pictures." Beyond laughing, Ruth delighted audiences on The Dean Martin Show, Sesame Street, and beloved animated classics like The Smurfs and the Berenstain Bears. She wasn't just a comedian. She was a storyteller, a trailblazer, and a source of light whose kindness touched everyone around her. As we remember Ruth Buzzy today, we honor not only her unforgettable characters, but also her spirit of joy and resilience. Though her voice is now silent, her laughter lives on in every memory, every episode, and every heart she touched. Farewell, Ruth. Thank you for the light, the laughter, and the legacy you leave behind. You will be deeply missed now and always. British actor Damian Thomas passed away on April 18, 2025 at Salisbury Hospice in Wiltshire, England, after a long and courageous battle with progressive supranuclear palsy, a rare and debilitating neurological disease. He was 83 years old. His daughter Phoebe Thomas confirmed the news, and the Telegraph published a detailed obituary a few days later. Born in Ismailia, Egypt on April 11, 1942, Thomas went on to build a career that spanned nearly 5 decades. He is warmly remembered for his role as Father Martin Alvito in the acclaimed miniseries Shogun 1980 and as Richard Mason in the BBC's Jane Eyre 1983. His film credits, including Twins of Evil 1971, The Message 1976, and Pirates 1986, showcased his remarkable range. On television, he appeared in beloved series like Agatha Christie's Poirot and House of Cards, bringing a thoughtful depth to every role he embraced. Friends and colleagues have shared heartfelt memories of Thomas's kindness and generosity. Film historian Robert J. E. Simpson recalled, "Saddened to hear that the lovely Damian Thomas died at the age of 83 last Friday, a week after his birthday. I'd met him a few times at various events, and he was always gracious and generous with his time." The community of film enthusiasts, especially fans of classic horror and historical drama, have expressed deep appreciation for the authenticity he brought to his characters. He is survived by his wife Julia, 3 children, and 3 stepchildren. Thomas's contributions to film and television left a lasting impression on audiences and colleagues alike. His performances continue to be remembered and appreciated by fans around the world. Jay North, forever etched in the hearts of generations as the wide-eyed, slingshot-carrying Dennis the Menace, passed away peacefully on April 6, 2025 at his home in Lake Butler, Florida. He was 73. His passing followed a long and quiet battle with colon cancer. It was Jeannie Russell, his lifelong friend and former co-star, who shared the news. Jay was a deeply sensitive soul, she said, who never fully recovered from the pressures of childhood fame. But he never stopped caring for others. Born in August 1951 in Hollywood, North found himself in front of cameras before most children had started school. By the age of 8, he had become a household name through the beloved CBS series Dennis the Menace, 1959 to 1963. The show's light-hearted portrayal of suburban mischief brought warmth and laughter to millions. Yet, behind the charm of Dennis Mitchell was a boy navigating the heavy burden of early stardom, something Jay would later speak about with honesty and vulnerability. As the spotlight faded, North stepped away from acting, served in the U.S. Navy, and eventually worked as a correctional officer in Florida. Far from the cameras, he built a life rooted in service and resilience. He also used his own experience to advocate for young performers, partnering with groups like A Minor Consideration to support child actors facing challenges he knew all too well. The tributes that followed his passing were tender and sincere. "Jay was a wonderful person," said John Prost of Lassie, "and I miss him with all my heart." Angela Cartwright offered, "Life wasn't always kind to you, Jay, but I hope you're now the pirate you always dreamed of being." For so many, Jay was more than just a face on television. He was part of their childhoods. If Jay North was a part of your memories, what episode or moment still brings a smile to your face? Share it below and help us honor the boy who grew up in front of us and taught us that even mischief can come with a kind heart. Charles Esch, the Oscar-nominated writer and director behind beloved films like Private Benjamin and Father of the Bride, passed away at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles after a brief illness. He was 83. His daughter, filmmaker Hi Myers Shire, confirmed the news to the Associated Press. In a statement, the family wrote, "His loss leaves an unfillable hole in our lives, but his legacy lives on through his children and the 5 decades of wonderful work he's left behind." Born in Los Angeles in 1941, Shire was steeped in the traditions of Hollywood from an early age. His father, Melville Shire, was one of the founding members of the Directors Guild of America. Charles began in television, then rose to prominence with Private Benjamin, 1980, a screenplay co-written with Nancy Myers and Harvey Miller, which earned an Academy Award nomination. Through the 1980s and 1990s, Shire and Myers, his creative and life partner at the time, crafted films that captured the humor, tension, and tenderness of modern family life. Baby Boom, Father of the Bride, and The Parent Trap, 1998, remained touchstone for generations of viewers. Following his passing, tributes came from many who knew and worked with him. Nancy Myers posted simply, "Charles Esch, 1941 to 2024. While actress Lindsay Lohan shared, "He will always be in my heart, as will all my fond memories of him." Kimberly Williams Paisley, who starred in Father of the Bride, remarked, "I wouldn't be who I am today without them." Their words reflect not only affection, but a recognition of how deeply his work influenced their lives and careers. Charles Shire's storytelling was never about grandeur. It was about people, connection, and life's quieter truths. Whether it was a daughter's wedding, a woman's career shift, or holiday memories, his films offered laughter, reflection, and comfort. He leaves behind not only a body of work, but a lasting emotional imprint on American cinema. Neil Zurker, a beloved Ohio journalist, author, and longtime television personality, passed away peacefully at his home in Bay Village, Ohio. He was 89. His passing due to natural causes was confirmed by WJW-TV, his professional home for decades. With his passing, Ohio lost not only a familiar face on the screen, but a trusted voice that guided generations through the quiet back roads and small wonders of their own state. Best remembered for his iconic one-tank trip segment, Neil had a rare gift for turning ordinary places into memorable adventures. Launching in 1979 during the energy crisis, his travel stories encouraged Ohioans to rediscover what was already around them. He wasn't just pointing to a map. He was building a bridge between people and places. Families planned weekends around his segments, knowing his advice was sincere, practical, and rooted in deep local knowledge. Off-screen, Neil wrote books like Ohio Oddities and Tales from the Road, all in the same thoughtful, inviting tone that marked his on-air presence. Over the years, his work earned recognition from the Society of Professional Journalists and the Ohio Broadcasters Hall of Fame. More than awards, though, it was the public's enduring trust that defined his career. He didn't chase fame, he earned respect. Following the news of his passing, tributes flowed from across the state. John Skurdick, director of the Cleveland Public Library, wrote, "Neil's warmth, wit, and passion left an indelible mark on all who had the privilege of knowing him." A viewer shared, "His way with words drew you into his stories and captivated your interest." Neil Zier reminded us all that some of life's richest journeys begin right in our own backyard, and for that he will always be remembered. Drake Hogstein, best known for his decades-long role as John Black on Days of Our Lives, passed away at his home in Malibu, California, after a courageous battle with pancreatic cancer. He was 70 years old, just one day shy of his 71st birthday. His family shared the news through the show's official channels, saying he passed peacefully, surrounded by loved ones. In their message, they honored his strength, stating he had fought with incredible determination to the very end. Born on September 29, 1953 in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Hogstein began his career in professional baseball before an injury redirected his path toward acting. In 1986, he stepped into the role of John Black, a mysterious and enduring character that would define his legacy. With over 4,200 episodes to his name, Hogstein became a staple of daytime television, capturing hearts through his undeniable on-screen chemistry with Deidre Hall. Their characters, John and Marina, became one of soap opera's most iconic couples, an anchor for generations of viewers. His colleagues remember him as much for who he was off-screen as on. Allison Sweeney wrote, "He was funny, generous, and thoughtful. He cared about every single scene, every person." Christian Alonso shared, "I'll always remember him as a passionate and immensely kind human being." Christopher Shaw, who played his on-screen son, simply called him Dad and thanked him for the love and guidance he gave both on and off the set. Drake Hugest is survived by his wife Victoria, their 4 children, and 7 grandchildren. His legacy lives not only in his body of work, but in the deep respect and affection of those who knew him. If you've ever been moved